Well, hello, folks. This is Fat Guy Flies RC coming to you from the man cave. Yep, we're gonna unbox and put together yet another airplane. E-FLITE was, or Horizon Hobby was having a clearance sale, and this is be the third time I've had the E-FLITE Cherokee 1.3M. Now I had the original one when it first came out. Flew the dog mess out of it, blinded the old AR-36 sport receiver, and then they re-released it again a few years later, and I'd already sold the first one. Then I got it and I flew the dog mess out of that, the red and white ones, both of them, and then I flew the dog mess out of that one, and I sold it too. And I said, you know what, I wish I'd never gotten rid of that Cherokee. That's just one of the best flying planes, both of them. And then they had the clearance sale on this one, the newer one, and this color scheme, I really like the way it looks. And they had a clearance sale, and it was like, I don't know, 70, 80 bucks off, and I had like, I don't know, almost $100 worth of credit with their point system. And this thing was normally $269, and it only cost me $128 after all said and done. So I'm like, I got to jump on that. And I just happened to have a AR-361 receiver, which is what comes in the bind and fly. So we're going, and this one's completely opened up with an updated the AS3 Plus. It's ready to adapt, so we'll be able to do forward programming with that, and essentially turn this into a bind and fly. So normally, you know, I'd pay, if you were going to buy the bind and fly and buy the plug and play. I think the bind and fly normally, or the plug and play, is normally $269. And for $40 more, you can go ahead and get it at $85 or almost a $90 receiver with it. So it makes more sense to get the bind and fly. But since they're running a sale, I'm like, and I happen to have one, so win-win. Let's unbox it. Look at this thing. This is going to be a very simple build. I believe the rudder's already installed. All you got to do is put in the full floating stab. Horizontal stabilizer, and throw your gear on, throw the wing on, 4 bolts hold the wing on, quick connects on the wings, so very simple. No, not like quick connects as in holds the wing on, but quick connects is electronically. And like all FMS, E-FLITE, Arrows, all the higher end models, these boxes are like so much suction. So the best way to open these things up is to open one end, actually open both ends, and then push it out that way. Just makes your life a lot easier. As I rip up the foam box there. That off to the side, and that mystery box over there that you don't know what it is yet. It's a P-38. Shh, don't tell nobody. Now I haven't gotten this new one here yet. I've never had this new one. Like I say, you do have to install your landing gear. Now, one complaint, and it's not a huge complaint, but hear that? I agree with John and Two Brothers RC. When these planes, unless you do something with the gear, they do sound like rolling around the side of a dumpster. But that's not that big of a deal. Looks like it may have improved the wheels a little bit. Okay, you got your wing spar. Rather hefty wing spar. And this is that clicking that I was talking about there. 2 bolts from the underneath. Quick connect, wing spar. You've got the combination Fowler / slotted flaps. Connections already made for you. Nice. This has a very nice lights package. It's almost, I won't say night flight ready, but it lights up. It's got quite a lot of lights on it. All right, now this is a 2-part coffin. So you open that side, and then you come over here, and you open up this side, take the cardboard out, and everything is sandwiched in there. I mean, the way they pack these planes, I mean, you can drop them off a truck, and it's not going to hurt anything. Molded, folded down in there, but it fell down in there. And what is our addendum here? Oh, just a quick setup guide for all the different, if you had the bind and fly, and then different languages. But I got the plug and play, so I'll be setting my own stuff up. Little tray of goodies here. The only screws that you'll be needing. Oh, lost a screw. A hole in the bag. All right, Phillips head screws are what you're going to be needing. That's actually a wing bolt there. This is why I love magnetic trays. Okay. Yeah, I love little magnetic trays. They make your life so much easier. Prop is already set up for you. And it's got the white paint on there, which is going to look really good. Your one-piece horizontal stabilizer, which has a, you can kind of see the shadow, the dark area. That's a wing spar going right down through there. This just sets in, and remember, anytime you got a full floating stab, you don't need much movement because you got the entire thing moving. So you don't need much deflection. The other wing, and the finish is just, yes, you can see the individual cells, but this is just as slick as can be. Nice scale detail, fueling point. Even tells you to use 100 octane low lead fuel only. So you need to go down to more than just your local gas station to fill that up. And last but not least, the fuselage. Fuselage. Make sure nothing in that bag there. You can run this on 3S or 4S, and if I remember right, the performance is noticeable, the difference between 3S to 4S, but not like, oh, it's so slow on 3S. No, it's still peppy on 3S. It's just not going to be as fast. You're not going to get as immediate torque like you would a 4S. All right. Now, if I remember right, this has a very deep, very big battery bay. Okay. Yep. Very obvious where you're going to put the receiver. It's got the smart, I think it's a 70 amp ESC, smart ESC. See how 70 amp ESC. Oh. Okay. Oh, a little yellow pigtail there. That's thrust reverse, but you don't have to. You don't have to worry about plugging that in. The ESC itself will probably handle the thrust reverse, but everything is labeled for you. You're going to want to put your receiver like right about here. Okay. Big battery, IC3 connector. 3S or 4S. All right, plenty of room. All right, we're going to leave the canopy off for now. All right. If I remember right, the front gear, yep, front gear has suspension. Okay. Let's get our plane stand real quick, which I forgot to grab first. Let's go ahead and get to building. First thing you're going to want to do, is you're going to take this cover here off, and we're going to install our horizontal stabilizer, otherwise known as your elevator. Phillips head screwdriver gets it done all day long. Okay. Oh, we need a smaller one than that. That's going to be too tight to fit down in there. Got 3 screws. We'll pull them out, set them off the side, put them in the tray somewhere where you're going to remember where they're at. Grab the right ones. And these look differently than the other ones in that they look like wood screws. They have a very pointy end on them. Okay. Well, wait. Yeah. They have little pointy end there. Okay. 3 identical screws. This is why I like a screwdriver that has a magnetic tip on it. Just makes life easier. We'll just leave that in there since that's not wanting to fall out. All right, now you look at your mechanism there. You see that dip right there, like that half moon shape? All right, that should give you a hint. Okay. You see there's a place there to put a screw through there. Okay. And then you look on that. That should just fit like a glove. Fits right. It's obvious how that fits in there. Now let me refer real quick. You use the same bolts. These little 8mm screws are machine screws. Okay. They're flat machine screws. Phillips head. Okay. They're the smaller one. You're going to use 2 here to bolt in your horizontal stabilizer. Okay. Okay, I'm back. I realized I had dropped one of the longer screws. The longest screws in the pack, you need 4 of these to hold your landing gear in. I realized I only got 3, and these little 8mm screws that I'm holding, I said that holds the wing, that hold the wing and the vertical or horizontal stabilizer. You need 2 and 4. Well, I'm looking, I'm like, I only got 1 and 3, so I'm missing 2, or I'm missing 1. And after I put this one, I only had 3 left. I'm like, well, I need 4. They were on the floor there. They had dropped. So be careful. So I'm like, wait a minute. That ain't right. All right. Get them nice and tight. It has a very obvious stopping point. Don't go any, just nice. I do a 2-finger tight. All right. Now, once you've got that in there, you can drop back your cover back. Remember, I had that 1 screw that didn't fall out. These are the 3 long, they look like wood screws. They got pointy ends. They're the only screws in the pack that have a pointy end. And that's going, into plastic. So like I said, it's very helpful to have a magnetic tipped screwdriver here. Very simple, very easy build. One thing I like, you got this hard plastic protrusion there. That way when you go take off, you strike your tail, you're going to hit that instead of the end of your wing or your fuselage. All right, now turn this around. Got that on there. We'll install our wings. Okay. Wing spar has a very obvious point. Always put them in a twisting motion. And when I slide the wings in, you can see the 3 connection points there. Lights, elevator, and aileron. And then that's the 2 slots where the screws go in. Very obvious. Not hard at all. Okay. Nope. Make sure you install the correct wing. It does make it better. It does seem to fly right when it's got the right wings on. My plane stand is exactly configured that well for this particular plane. Okay. Now, if you want to do this, you can take instead of putting the wing spar in there, if you prefer, get it out of there, you can put it in the wing that has a very obvious stopping point. Line your wing up here. Okay. And that will line in like that. You're going to take 2 of these 8mm machine screws. Don't drop them. But you got to drop something at least once in every time you put a plane together. You've got to drop something at least one time. That's law. Nothing you can do about it. I don't make the rules. Sorry, I got my armpit in your face there. It has, has a very obvious stopping point. I mean, when it bottoms out, it bottoms out. One of the nice features about this plane now is they got a little more of an aggressive pitch on the prop to where the prop is not as long, and it's also a lighter prop, which means that going in the grass field now, you can definitely use this on grass, no problem. I mean, you can't use it like in, real rough terrain. But you've got a decent amount of clearance. A nice manicured runway is fine. But because you got a shorter prop, you're not going to be hitting the grass as bad. Okay, now, that wing is on there. Like I said, it has a very obvious stopping point. And when it hits bottom, it hits bottom. You know it. Feed that in there. Make sure you get all the way in. And like I said, I know I don't close up with these cameras of what I'm doing. It's obvious. I mean, you can tell what I'm doing. If you plug a light bulb in, you can do this. This is not hard. This is not hard. You got your 2 obvious holes. Make sure you can see all the way through into there's some metal threads down there. If it's not quite lined up, you may have to finagle your wing just a little bit. But once you get bite, you know it. A little tip that I like to do, if I can get one bolt started on a wing and the other one's not quite lining up, don't tighten that one bolt down, and then you can kind of use that as a pivot point to pull the other one in. This isn't necessary in this particular build or assembly. And on a side note, folks, I know that I've even had some people kind of sort of take offense that I use the word build. Yeah, and they say, well, it's not a build. I say, yeah, I know, it's not a build. None of these foam planes are usually not builds. They're assemblies. You're just bolting them together, maybe a small amount of gluing. Okay, an assembly is what these are. A build, to me, is when you got to measure, cut, form, manufacture in order to produce something. That's a build. Okay. But I use the word build because it takes up less room on the internet, as far as, because that space is a premium, and most viewers will respond better to the word build than they do assembly. I'll probably will say the heck with that and start using the word assembly anyways, but just let you know. If you see me doing that in the past, that's why. Okay, those wings are on there. Okay, they ain't coming off. Now, if you look real close on the landing gear, there's a very deep hole there. And then you've got 3 other connection point holes for your gear, for the part of the fairings. Okay, this one would not go on this side because that deep hole is over here, but it would, however, go here. Okay, so just feed that in there. You can sink it down in just a minute. So the inside root, that side there, goes to the inside of the plane. That helps you make it a little more obvious for you. Fit that in there. It has a very obvious trough that it goes, there you go, it popped right in. That popped right in, okay? Then you've got your these little plastic bits, okay? And this is where you're going to take these little plastic bits. They're keyed in how they fit, okay? You got that shaft. This has a little perforation here where that shaft goes. Just line that up there. Line this one up too. The 2 holes go towards the front of the wing on both sides. Like I say, it's obvious how it goes. And you're going to take your 4 of these longer, that last machine bolts, okay? Yep, and that's right. And they just go right here in the very obvious holes where they go. We got one more step and one more screw after we get this in there. I say one more. We got another step after that. We're going to put the prop on only for the purpose of showing the prop to complete the assembly. I will be taking the prop back off for the radio rates and CG video. There again, this is a machine screw going into a machine slotted housing. So until you'll feel it hit bottom. When it hits bottom, you're done. Okay, that's on there. I always like to support with my hand on the underside if you can. The opposing side, try to support it with your hand. Okay. Not going to be able to do it this time, this side. Maybe I can. If I had a longer screwdriver, it wouldn't be so hard. All right. Now, if you're the kind that like to use Loctite on things like this, instead of using Loctite with all this plastic and foam, get you a little bead of contact cement or rubber cement. foam safe CA. You can put a little bit of that on there, and that'll do the same thing as your Loctite. Alrighty. Now this is a peripheral detail. You're going to grab your little antenna here, okay, and there's a hole there, and then you got one last tiny little looking machine screw. That, I mean, not machine screw, like it looks like a wood screw. It has a pointy end on it. Okay. And then you see that hole right there? Kind of put 2 and 2 together there. Okay. You've got your hatch up here, little antenna hatch. You're going to want to feed this in from the rear. I think. Let me look at it. I think you feed it in from the rear, maybe from the front there. Tilt in. Let me make sure of that. Be some of this last step and it'd be the most difficult. Okay. All right. You put on the front with these 2 little look like little legs there. They're going to kick towards the front of the plane. Like that. Okay. All right, yeah. Now, something I did with my first 2. Don't be tempted to grab this. Don't grab the antenna, okay? If you do that, you're going to end up breaking the antenna off, okay? This is the way it is when you're wanting to grab it, okay? Put your finger actually on the front of that antenna. Where you see, in other words, you see that screw right there? There's that little metal screw. Make sure your finger's touching that metal screw. And push the screw. Don't push the antenna. Push the screw. Otherwise, that antenna is going to break off very, very easily. All right, now the last little detail, or for that, is actually putting the prop on. Okay, there is a screw that holds the spinner. Phillips head again. A Phillips head screwdriver is all you're going to need to put this plane together. Okay. Well, you will need a tool to tighten the prop up. Slide that on there like that. Hold that screw in place. The screw actually goes in the front of that prop shaft. I'm not going to tighten it up just now. I'm just going to put on there for display purposes. Okay. Maybe. There you go. And that, folks, after all is said and done, is your unbox and assembly of the 1.3 meter Cherokee by E-FLITE. This is the plug and play. We'll be putting in the AR631 receiver, and I'll show you how to do forward programming. All right, folks. Well, thank you for watching. God bless y'all. Don't forget, faith, family, and friends. God is good, and that's the Cherokee. We'll get it made into you very, very soon. Bye, y'all.